Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. This is going to be a spoiler-free review for Scream 7. And bottom line, they were retreading familiar grounds that we've been on before. So again, spoiler-free, just to get all my thoughts out there. I'm eventually going to have to do a spoiler review because, yeah, there's a lot to unpack with this film, good and bad. So as we all know, Kevin Williamson is directing this one as well as co-writing, which is great to see. We also have the return of Neve Campbell, but we also have the departure of Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega with all that hoo-ha that's going on. So there was an estimated, I think it was 500,000 in rewrites done to the script, and you can definitely feel it. But the main theme with this film is nostalgia and history repeating itself. And we see that this time with the next generation, with Sidney Prescott's daughter Tatum, which is obviously named after Tatum in the first Scream film. So I like that it's leaning into nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. And we are in a day and age now where nostalgia is so prevalent. And then, in Scream 5, we were all about requels and reboots and stuff like that and legacy sequels.
Oh my god, he's making a requel.
A what?
Or a legacy sequel. Fans are torn on the terminology.
But yeah, so Kevin Williamson is definitely leaning into the nostalgia this time around. And we see Sidney Prescott trying to just continue her life in a new town. She runs a copy store with her daughter Tatum and her husband Mark, played by Joel McHale. And then we see Tatum starting to get stalked in a very similar way that Sidney did in the first film. And then all hell breaks loose. What I'll say is, for the most part, I really enjoyed this film. The first and second act were solid, and I'm going to be referencing the trailers that are out there. But some people may choose to not watch the trailers, and that could be considered a spoiler. So just keep that in mind, guys. Even though this is a spoiler-free review, I'm going to be referencing some sequences and shots in the trailers. But most notably, the opening sequence that takes place in the house, which is now an Airbnb museum. And again, going back to that idea of nostalgia, there's like museum pieces, there's props, there's little plaques everywhere. And that opening sequence was fantastic. I think the tension, the action, the energy in the first and second act is brilliant. And again, I like seeing where Sidney is these days. I like the more subdued moments of her trying to live her life, and then she gets a prank call, and then, she starts recording it. Much like what we see her do in Scream 3, where she's working the call center, and she gets the crank calls. She stays calm, she stays cool, she stays collected, and she starts recording it. She has all the tech in place to find out and track who the fuck is doing all this. But amongst that, and this has been a lot of discourse in the lead up to this film, things from the past come back to haunt her in a certain way, and it definitely leans into at one point where you think, holy shit, this is a big deal. This is a plot twist and a half. Now, we've also got the return of Courtney Cox as Gale Weathers, and her introduction is where this film leans in the campiness of the franchise. This isn't a new thing. There have been campy moments throughout the entire franchise with every Scream film, and her introduction or reintroduction in this film definitely leans into that. We also have Chad and Mindy, and this is where I could definitely feel the rewrites. I feel like some characters had to be thrown in there for the sake of it because of the original plan when Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega were on board. What really lost me in this film is the third act and the reveal. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I feel as each film has gone on, the reveals have become less special for me. And not a lot of effort has gone into the reveal and the motives. It becomes so far-fetched. And some people love that. Some people lean into that. Buy it. Eat it up. But fair enough. Good on you just to see how bombastic and wacky the motives and the reveals can be. But with this particular reveal in this film, this was essentially my reaction. Who are you and what are you doing here? And this is really hard to word being a spoiler-free review. And that's why this film definitely merits a spoiler-filled review. But in the first and second act, the energy was brilliant, and again, I love seeing where Sidney is these days. The clashing she has with Tatum, because Tatum wants to be a normal kid, but she's surrounded and haunted by her mother's past. And she seemingly can't escape that. But then again, history repeats itself with her being stalked, just the way her mom was being stalked when she was 17 in the first film. This is a brutal film as well, man. I thought Scream 6 was heavy on the gore and the brutality of the kills, but this one doesn't hold back. In a good way. Some people like the more subdued kills, but this one, man, this was good. And again, it has that high-octane energy. I think the tension, and we've seen those sequences where Sidney and Tatum are in the wall going through the crawl space, and Ghost Space is just knifing the wall. That's a great sequence. And there definitely are those red herrings where we see characters introduced, and instantly your brain is like, oh yeah, it's got to be them. And it's fun to speculate. That's what I love about these films, the whodunit. speculate who the shit is it, and then the reveal at the end. Then you compare notes with your mates afterwards and see how right you were or how wrong you were. I just felt this time around it felt like an afterthought, and it could have been because of these rewrites that this is the ending that they've gone with. And they just haven't stuck the landing. And now that Scream 7 is out, I will definitely say there isn't a dog Scream film in the bunch. There are just some that aren't as good as others. And this film definitely has some redeeming qualities. I think it's gotten to the point now where what else can you explore that is new without, again, retreading old ground or familiar ground? And again, it's leaning into nostalgia. It's fully aware of that, and that's what Scream is all about. It's being self-aware, it's being meta, and like I said, we are in a day and age now where nostalgia sells. It's safe for a lot of us, me included. But I would love to have seen something that just was not this ending. So, I was really pumped for this film. I think obviously seeing Neve Campbell back, and this is definitely her film. I know I mentioned that in my out-of-theater reaction, which I think I accidentally forgot to post. This is her film, but also seeing her alongside Tatum, I think Isabel May does a great job. She's a great final girl as well, that next generation. But seeing them work together, there's a great sequence where, like I said, Sidney owns and runs a coffee shop in the town that her and her family are living in, and it's utilizing the cameras that you can get on your phone, the CCTV, seeing what's going on in the store when Tatum is being chased by Ghostface. It's a great sequence. Again, the crawl space sequence as well. It's got a lot of good going for it. The opening sequence, which can make or break a Scream film, and for the most part, we've always had great opening sequences. This one was no exception. An absolute pillar in just really leaning into how far we've come with the obsession of the Ghostface killer and the stab films, and just being so self-aware. It's great. And the opening reminded me of me and just how obsessed I am with props and stuff, and stepping into, like, say, a prop museum or seeing artifacts on display, and you're like, oh my God, see this? This is the one that was used in Y and Z. So guys, definitely give this one a crack. The good definitely outweighed the bad for me. But when the bad is the payoff and the reveal, it's a pretty big bad. So it's going to be interesting to hear the discourse on this one. Again, stay offline as much as you can in regards to X, Reddit, even articles like an interview with Neve Campbell or the rest of the cast. People are putting spoilers, so yeah, just be mindful of that. But with that, I'm going to be giving Scream 7 3 bloody knives out of 5. Once you do check out Scream 7, drop a comment below, a spoiler-free comment below. Be civil and let me know your thoughts. I'm going to definitely have a spoiler review or just a spoiler talk and get all my verbal diarrhea in regards to spoilers out there, because there's definitely a lot to unpack. And so it's hard to word things when we got to be so secretive. Like last night as well, I just want to get my initial thoughts out there, even though I worded things a bit wrong and my brain was trying to dissect everything, which of course, if you don't see it posted, means I actually did forget to post it. But as always, let me know your thoughts once you see this one. Thanks so much for watching and listening. If you want to support the channel, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/cinemagold. And of course, thank you so much to Paramount Plus for sponsoring this video. Take care.